All right. Shalom Akim. Shalom. This is the Brother Ba'ar coming back at you again with another daily exhortation to edify the body, to edify the sheep of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah to the best of my ability. And before I start, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Ba'ashem Rakah Quadash. I like to give the honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I like to give salutations to the Akim preaching the gospel across the four corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. Shalom Akim. Shalom. Once again, I'm back with another daily exhortation, and I wanted to do this lesson, man, based on a particular part of a video, man. It was a video that I put on the chat, on our group chat, not too long ago, and it was with this female therapist, and I believe she's a Levite woman, but she's a female therapist. And in this, it was a long video. It was about 2 hours, but in this video, it was a part of this video that, inspired me to do this lesson, because the woman was speaking about how important having elders around in our families, and that's something that, because of this captivity, because of Esau Edom, him removing the fathers out of the household, because of, going through this hardcore captivity, man, and separating our families, man, and destroying the families, we weren't able to have that wisdom, all right, from our elders, that are very needful in our families, especially for the young men and young women who are married, because our elders have sound advice, because of their experiences of, being in a relationship, being in a marriage, and how to, deal with each other. I even think about, I have a friend of mine, I've grown up watching his grandparents, my whole life, and watching them, how they operate, how they coexist in their home. They're in two different worlds, but yet they're able to make things work because they're playing their role. And they're older people. They're like in their 80s now. All right, but when you look at this younger generation, they don't have those elders around anymore to give them advice on how to, be in a relationship. I'm not currently in a marriage or in a relationship right now, but I once was a few times, and I can understand and relate to what the things that the woman was saying in this video clip. But let me bring out a few precepts. All right, and this is let me see, I'll just bring out a few. It says this is Sirach, or Ecclesiasticus 8 verse 9, and it says, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, and of them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need requireth. Now, this is talking about, elderly men when it comes to counsel and such like that. But in our household, it's very wise to get advice from our elders, because they've gotten wisdom and advice from their elders, from their forefathers and mothers, right? And that wisdom passed down to the younger generation is very beneficial. And that kind of wisdom would be very beneficial to this generation. All right. And also, Salakia, this is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach 25 verse 6, and it says, I'll start off at 4 since it's there on the screen. It says, oh, how comely a thing is judgment for gray hairs, and for ancient men to know counsel. It says, oh, how comely is the wisdom of old men, and understanding to the counsel to men of honor. Verse 6, it says, much experience is the crown of old men. All right, and the fear of the Most High is their glory. All right, much experience is the crown of old men. When you're around a grandfather, and when you have a grandfather in your family, He's the one. He may be at his old age not as vigorous as he used to be, but his wisdom, his understanding of things is at a high level because he's lived a long life. All right. And he has the understanding to share unto his children and unto his grandchildren. All right. Unto his sons and daughters on how to, care for their wives, and to the daughters, their husbands, and that's where, the grandmothers would step in. I would hear particular things growing up from, particular grandmothers and grandfathers, how they would give their eldest sons and daughters advice on how to conduct themselves in a relationship. Well, see, this generation has lost that. All right. This generation has definitely lost that because now the grandparents of today are children in their mind. All right. And that's because of the system that was established through Esau Edom, taking the fathers once again out the household, which caused a freaking snowball effect from generation to generation. All right. Destroying homes. Now the mothers who are super emotional, are the heads of a lot of these households, a lot of Jake households. All right. And the children grow up not having that balance. All right. Not having that foundation in which a father can bring. So now when they grow up and they go into relationships themselves, those relationships are toxic and without balance because they're entering into a marriage without understanding, and this is why it's very beneficial, to fear the Lord and to keep his way and to establish his way, and within your household, within your marriages, because it brings balance, it brings understanding, it brings order, and it's a beautiful thing that the Lord has chosen this generation, this time period to bless us with that understanding of how to establish ourselves within the household, and there's brothers, man, that are in this truth, and when you go amongst them and you're in their household and you see how, he conducts his household, it's a very beautiful thing to see a man and a woman dwelling harmoniously with order. The man plays his role with understanding and wisdom, and the woman plays her role with understanding and wisdom. All right, by submitting to her husband, and that's sound, that's wisdom, and that's a lot of understanding. Because when both the male and the female are playing their roles, they benefit off of each other, and they love each other. And that's the spirit of the Lord dwelling between them two. Dwelling amongst their households. But let me see. Let me get to. I'm gonna play the video clip, but I'm gonna play it towards the end of this lesson because it is a little lengthy. But I just wanted to, do a quick lesson about it. And listening to that video clip, it brought me to this precept here. All right. This is Titus 2. All right. And I'm going to start off at the top. And it says, but speak thou the things which become sound doctrine. And it says that the aged men be sober, grave, which means honest. All right. Temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. Right. And it says, let me read that again. Titus 2, verse 2, that the aged men be sober, grave, temperate, sound in faith, in charity, in patience. Because, and that's the one thing that the Lord has taught us, taught us men in particular, is to have patience. All right. And to be honest. All right. And to be sound in faith, to have a sound mind by establishing order, the order of the Heavenly Father and his Son, by applying the wisdom of the Heavenly Father and his Son and teaching his way unto their children, unto our children. All right. And it says in charity. All right. In patience, and we've learned that a lot in this truth, in this faith. All right. But verse 3, and it says the aged woman likewise, that they be in behavior as becometh holiness, not false accusers, not given to much wine, teachers of good things, that they may teach the young women to be sober, to love their husbands, to love their children, to be discreet, chaste, keepers at home, good, obedient to their own husbands, that the word of the Most High be not blasphemed. All right? And that's the job of an elder woman, in the family, an aged woman in the family. She's supposed to take the wisdom and the understanding that she's gained in her life and pass it down to, her daughters and to the women that are near her. It may be nieces, granddaughters or whatever, or family friends, when they're interacting with each other, because it's always been a custom of ours that in our society, so to speak, men and women wouldn't congregate together in a mix as they do here in Babylon. A lot of the times the men will go in one area and the wives will go in another, and they speak amongst themselves, and the men, we speak amongst ourselves, and that's how things are supposed to flow. All right. Everything is supposed to be done decently and in order. The men giving each other sound advice, and amongst the men, you're going to have aged men of wisdom, men, who have much experience to pass down unto their sons, their grandsons, or, nephews, or, family friends, or whatever, so on and so forth. And likewise, the women. Okay. And that's the beautiful part, man, because there's no confusion. All right. And this is why, even in this world, the rich, those who have money, they send their children to boarding schools. And in boarding schools, they separate the boys from the girls. All right. There may be it may be one school, but it'll be two different sides. One side will be for the boys, and they'll be amongst themselves. They'll learn things amongst themselves. All right. And the daughters likewise. All right. And that creates a natural competitive environment. All right. And so that you're not competing with the other gender, and that creates so when those genders come together, it creates a harmonious bond. All right. Because they're curious of your nature just as much as you're curious of theirs, but dealing with each other with understanding, knowing your own roles. All right. And I thought of this precept, man. All right. It's very important to have aged men and aged women around in your family. And we're going to be able to experience this in the kingdom at the highest level. Our grandchildren are going to grow up knowing many things, because they're going to learn from their fathers and their grandfathers and their great-great-grandfathers. And so the mothers. All right. So the daughters are going to grow up in the kingdom, communicating and getting understanding from their mothers, their grandmothers, and their great-grandmothers, and so on and so forth. We're going to be strong in the kingdom as a nation, as a people, as families. All right. Because the Lord is going to be in the midst. The Lord is going to be our light. We're going to keep the law perfectly. All right. So let me go to this video real quick.
Imagine a world where a young man who is filled to the brim, overflowing with testosterone, is being nurtured and groomed by a man who has estrogen now, who's been there, done that, has learned from his mistakes, right? So he has a few things here. He has experience in being with a woman. He knows who he was as a man when he was younger. He knows about that brute strength and force and being dominating and the consequences thereof. And now he has a bit more estrogen, so he's more in tune with his emotions. He is going to be able to tell that gentleman whose wife is now pregnant and hyper emotional, go ahead and get her what she's craving. Just relax. She's pregnant, right? If a man is not told she is pregnant, right? Like, I've seen men being harsh with their wives who are pregnant because they just don't know. This is not an automatic response. This is learned behavior to treat pregnant women with level of care and respect and tenderness. That's not automatic. That's taught for a man. And we are missing that, right? We are missing that component. And imagine a world where a woman is connected to her grandmother who has less estrogen. She's less stressed with her emotional bandwidth, right? She's not expressing her stress through her estrogen. She's more logical. So she's going to tell the woman, don't major the minors. Don't make the mountain out of this molehill. Leave that man alone. You ever heard old women tell young women that? Leave that man alone. Leave that man alone. Without the man, the older man telling the younger man, be easy. She's emotional. That's beautiful. This is gorgeous. You want this. Without the older woman telling the younger woman, leave that man alone. He worked 12-hour shift. Did you cook for him? Is the house clean? Is this prepared? Don't wait for him to, turn you on. Get ready. I've had a older woman tell me, don't rely on your man to get you in the mood, your husband to get you in the mood all the time. You get yourself ready. You prepare yourself for that man. This is advice that we're not hearing and receiving. So what's happened is what people are experiencing in women, which is a hardness, and the sassiness in men, is actually a byproduct and a result of the dissolve of the black family. The intergenerational experience. It's almost non-existent. Unfortunately, we are in real time experiencing something that we don't have a solution to.
All right. I'm going to end it off there, man. And for brothers who are wanting to, hear or see this whole video, I'll leave the link in the description box, but this whole lesson was based off of, that part of that video. Once again, it is a 2-hour long video, but from a worldly point of view, and I believe this woman, this daughter, she knows that we're Israelites based on the things that she was saying. She considered us a lost people. All right. And there's only one people in the world that's known to be lost unto this day. All right. And that's you Negroes, Latinos, and Native American people. And those of our people that are scattered throughout the 4 corners of the earth. All right. And, she broke down our experience from a psychologist's point of view. And she was hitting every point, Now, once again, brothers, be mindful. There are some bones, but overall, this video was a very impactful video. She touches on a lot of points, and it's good points, and it's good to hear somebody, that's in the world who sees the damage and structure amongst us, and I just hope y'all brothers, if you get an opportunity, just go ahead and listen. But I'm gonna end this lesson off here, man. And I hope y'all were edified. And I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham, Rakah, Quadash. I like to give double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. I like to give salutations to the Akim preaching the gospel across the 4 corners of the earth in truth and in sincerity. Shalom, Akim. Shalom.